find where I live and my house and my studio.
Good morning, everybody. How you guys doing? Well, it seems that YouTube did it again. Yep, they did. They did it again. They shortened my video to 22 seconds. Okay. 22 seconds. Okay. But the video that I did last night was at between 38 and 44 minutes. Okay. I did a video about Facebook censoring and blocking the article from the New York Post, and why they did it. They're trying to protect. They're trying to censor this article. The Daily Mail got censored, and the New York Post got censored. My article was blocked. I mean, it doesn't. It did not violate any of Facebook's rules, you know, because I talked about it the other day, and it was a good nearly an hour talking about it, you know. Now, last night I was talking about the article block, the article censorship. So I talked about because the fiscal year money at all. No. If this woman, this founder, this co-founder of BLM, can spend $1.4 million on a house and $500,000 plus on one house, then $400,000 on another, and all the other stuff. They're asking to, I mean, members of, I mean, you got even leaders of chapters calling in question for splurging money and buying houses and shit, you know. She's been buying it since 2016. You know, and I would call in the question too. You know, if I was a member, but I'm not. I'm really a person that kind of thinks that isn't kind of hypocritical, you know. That here you have a co-founder who's a self-proclaimed Marxist, which I think she should be a self-proclaimed full of shit. So, now, if they're collecting this money, and there is no 50c3 tax exempt filing, you know, they can file for that, you know. And if they do, they cannot really touch the money for any personal use. But of course, Al Sharpton does it. So does Maxine Waters, you know. But Al Sharpton owes nearly $5 million in taxes. I mean, plus interest and stuff. So Foot Locker got looted the other day. Now they said they're going to go, and they admitted they're going to donate $200 million for the next 5 years. Now think about that for a moment here. $200 million for the next 5 years, but yet they got looted. One of the stores got looted. So, if you're announcing that you're going to donate $200 million for the next 5 years, now total of that is $1 billion. Yeah, $1 billion. The question is, yeah, who's going to control that money? The three heads of this movement needs to be called into question. Not just the co-founder that spent nearly, let's see, close to $3 million combined, or 2.5 million. I would say nearly $3 million right there. But now I kind of find this kind of odd, really odd. Really odd. My question is this, if they're getting all this money, who's the middleman? Who's the one that's gonna gonna handle all the money? Who's the outfit that's gonna handle the money once it's donated and stuff? And are the chapters going to get a cut of that dough? Even the dough that Foot Locker's going to fork over for the next 5 years. See, Foot Locker can say, well, we decided not to. But since they announced it, they can't back out because I mean they can, but there'll be a boycott of Foot Locker because they said, well, we're announcing that we're going to donate $200 million for the next 5 years. Yeah, $1 billion in total. I mean, so here's my question. I mean, I bet everybody is asking this question. Is BLM a Ponzi scheme here? Are the riders and looters a distraction to, cause harm to other businesses and stuff like that? And I mean, come on, guys, think about this for a moment here. Here they collected $93 million last year. One of the co-founders bought a house, $1.4 million. Imagine that for a moment here, okay? But Facebook has censored the stories about the Marxist BLM founder buying several houses. A bias is obvious. Bias by Facebook and shit. So, it's not really exposing any information about the woman. Nothing personal, but yet, they're pretty much saying, well, it violates the privacy rights. How is this article, the story, violates someone's privacy? There's nothing private that's being shown here. No phone number, no email, no SSN number, none of that shit, none of that stuff. It's just a story, an article. The New York Post, the Daily Mail, and stuff like that. It's not really violating any privacy. Right. Privacy thing, But this story, I mean, they're trying to censor the story because they don't want no one else to know. I mean, it's already out there. Okay, it's already out there, folks. Okay, what she done? It's already out there. It's already out there, man. It's already out there. They know what she did. Um, but the thing is, leaders, heads of a few chapters of BLM are calling her into question because how that's 1.4 million, one that's nearly half a million, one that's over $400,000 plus. I mean, then the another one is about what $600,000. I mean, fuck. If I did that, my ass would also get called into question. If I ever did that, I would be like, it's in the papers, on the internet, it's on the news. Like, oh shit, dude. But she should have done this in private. But sooner or later, it would have gone out anyway. It would, So there's a lot of censoring of the story. I don't know. I really don't know. And plus, I don't know why they're censoring articles. I mean, it's a news article, man. I think one of the best ways to combat the censorship is upload it to other platforms, like the alt tech media. I just think that they're censoring way too much. Way too much. I think there's going to be a point sooner or later that there's going to be a repeal that Section 230, half of that 230 thing. Because people are also getting censored too, man. I think that it's insane, man. It is really, really insane because there's been way too much censorship, period. I mean, it's like on Facebook, if you have a group, a certain type of group, it will be erased. It will be completely gone, man. Completely gone. I think that all of it needs to be looked at, big time, man. Big time, bro. I think that. I mean, you really got to think with this for a moment here. I mean, Facebook is censoring the story about the BLM co-founder. She's not a founder; she's a co-founder. Is there bias? Of course there is. There's bias in the media. There's bias in social media. I mean, it's going way cattywampus. I'm saying cattywampus. Here you go. I did a video last night that was 44 minutes, and it was like they took a good 44 minutes plus, and then kind of shrink it down to only 22 seconds here. I had no idea why. I think I mean I really don't understand why these censorship, because it's not really needed, really not really needed, because I mean, if you think that it's the right thing to do, well, that maybe that it's wrong. I think that is very, very wrong, because if you claim, you know, that it violates someone's privacy, well, maybe you are the one in the wrong. You the one that's censoring this article, the story, because you claim, even though it doesn't violate someone's the privacy right thing, it's just a story. It's a article. It's a column, right? And it's in a newspaper, right? Now, I mean, if you go to the website of the Daily Mail, as well as the New York Post. Now, I would definitely want to be tax exempt status and non-profit organization, that they'll need to file a 501c3 to be tax exempt, kind of like a church almost. But how come BLM didn't do that? You know, how come BLM didn't do that? I mean, they could have done that back when they were founded. You know, I mean, if they wanted to put this group together, this organization together, did they file a 501c3 to be tax exempt? Probably not. But yet, a co-founder spent $1.4 million on a house. I mean, doesn't that call into question of this woman's judgment here? I mean, I thought they were fighting for Black lives, man. Guess not. I mean, if you're spending nearly $2.5 million on some homes and shit since 2016, and then you got other leaders of the group, of the movement, calling you the question of, why are you spending all this fucking money? You know, it's for the movement here. It's for the global network that we got going on here. But the thing is, the story is being censored big time. Twitter did it. Facebook did it twice when the New York Post and the Daily Mail uploaded the article story on Facebook here. I mean, it does very much call into question of, now, Foot Locker, man. I mean, $200 million for the next 5 years. Now, mind you, 200 million times 5. That's $1 billion, man. $1 billion on that. I mean, think about this, guys. Think about this for a moment here. $200 million times 5. 200 million times 5. That's $1 billion. It's $1 billion. I mean, wow. It's a lot of money, man. It is a lot of money. You know, it is 200 million. Still a lot of money, but they need 200 million. I mean, question is, who's gonna get that dough? I mean, I don't know why companies are basically bending the knee to kiss their ass. Don't worry, we're going to donate $200 million for the next 5 years. How about the next 20 years, motherfucker? It's a joke, folks. It's a joke. It's a joke. I find this very hypocritical. You know, I mean, you're spending 1.4 on a house, bought a compound. You know, I mean, what the fuck, you know? I mean, it does call into question here. Now, I don't know if any of you, the ones that don't support BLM. Now, this is a huge number of black people that feels that BLM don't care about black people. Now, I'm wondering if they feel that the movement itself, BLM, is a Ponzi scheme, because you got all these looters and rioters, okay, going in there, destroying businesses, looting, and all the other shit, while the heads are getting donations from all over the place. Now, the co-founder, what the story's about, spent $1.4 million. I mean, think about this. $1.4 million on a house. Okay. I wonder if they feel that same way. That this whole entire movement is a scam, a Ponzi scheme, you know. A scam, you know. That also needs to come into question too, because if other black people that don't support BLM because BLM don't care about black people, which, hey, there's a huge majority that feels that same way, that feels that way, that BLM don't care about black people. Now, I'm wondering if they think and feel that BLM is nothing more than a scam, a Ponzi scheme, because to make money, you know, to get people to bend the knee and donate money, you know, kind of like that, you know. But here you hear about Foot Locker donating $200 million a year for the next 5 years, but yet one of the stores got looted. Now don't you think when Foot Locker says we're going to donate this much for the next 5 years, that a store would not get looted? Or is it that no matter what anybody says about, here, we support this, we're going to do this, it doesn't really matter, because they're going to still loot, they're still going to still riot, they're still going to go into neighborhoods and chant some stupid shit again and again and again. Now, there are a huge majority of black people that are very angry at the movement, very angry at the. I mean, think about this. If these three ladies put together Black Lives Matter for a reason, okay? Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, the 12-year-old kid that got shot within like 2-3 seconds, shot by two cops. Clock is up, stops. All of a sudden, they get out and shoot him. A 12-year-old kid. He just 12 years old, man. Then Trayvon Martin, 17 years old. 17 years old. He bought a Snapple and a pack of Skittles. "17 years old." Just yesterday, a 13-year-old kid got shot by a Chicago police officer. 13 years old, man. 13 years old, dude. 13 years old, man. "13 years old." Just a kid. He stopped. He had his hands up, and he was going to surrender. And that cop just fired and shot him. You know, I wish. I mean, there has to be some common sense here, folks. About a cop, man. If a cop, look, if you're a cop and you see someone surrendering, don't pull the trigger. Okay? If they have their hands up, they stop to around and put their hands up and surrendering. Don't shoot. Okay? Don't fire. Okay? The kills. I mean, that's like in Utah. You know, the dude was on his knees like this, and he was told if he fell and landed on his hands, he'd get shot. The guy was unarmed. I mean, why? Look, if the person gets shot, okay, they're trying to comply here, okay. And if you're an officer or a sheriff deputy, and you threaten a person that if they fall on their hands and they're gonna get shot, think about the outcome of your words. Of your words. You have a gun, and on the gun it says you're fucked. You know, I think that's kind of really chicken shit. Oh yeah, really chicken shit. You know, I mean, this is, I mean, cops have to have to think before, like, okay, I just said this before I shot a guy who's unarmed. He fell over, landed on his hands. Then he was shot. There are cops and deputies that are on a power trip. Okay? And those are the ones that need to watch the fuck out, because there's going to be a retaliation on these officers and deputies and shit. Now, you as an officer, you need to pay attention, man. Understand, your words as an officer, your words can also get you killed too. Just like anybody, you know. The way you say shit to people, whether you're a citizen or a law enforcement officer, okay, there's going to be people biding their time to shoot and kill you, you know. If, for example, if I said anything that pissed someone off, or the words crossed the line where it's like, beyond of no return here, folks. I would get shot. My words can get me shot, killed, and whatnot. So we all have to pay attention to kind of like, okay, back it up a little bit, folks. Back it up a little bit, folks. We all gotta think before we act, man, because look, it's your actions that could really put you in a bind here. You know, if someone's surrendering, don't shoot. And if you're the person that's surrendering, do not think about running. You cannot outrun a bullet, okay? No way, folks. No way. You have to use your head, man. Seriously, you have to use your head, man. Really. You have to really use your head, man, because it's best to comply to save your ass. If you want to avoid getting shot and it ends up on the news and also on the internet, and by doing that, you're basically avoiding a riot and looting moment. You're basically taking the power away from BLM, period, big time, because if you comply, now, understandable, this kid, this 20-year-old kid, okay, had a warrant for his arrest, an arrest warrant on his ass. Question is, why didn't he comply? Okay. Rayshard Brooks got himself shot when he attacked the two officers and took a taser. Under influence or not, if you pull that shit, you will get shot. You got to use your head, man. I mean, of course, the dude was under the influence. Okay. I mean, if you're under the influence of alcohol and you failed 2 sobriety tests, guess what, buddy? You're going to jail for intoxication while driving, man. It wasn't driving while black. It was driving while under the influence of alcohol. If he lived, he would got drunk driving, assault on an officer, and a couple other charges. But this attorney who's running an election year automatically planning to sentence his officers to death. There has to be an investigation first before the DA gets the capital murder charge thing. I thought we're supposed to investigate things before we do some other shit. Think here, man. Here, think here. Okay? I don't care if you're a goddamn attorney, DA. Do the investigation first before. Okay, we all know you're running for re-election. Like, we all give a shit, you know. Do the investigation. You need the investigation first to find out what happened. Start from beginning to the end. Then charge her, or not charge, whatever it is. Isn't it how the law works? You investigating shit. you're supposed to investigate the crime of what happened for then. But of course that didn't happen. But the Wendy's where people worked at, they had no job now. They're out now looking for a job because some dumb fuckers. I decided, well, we're gonna burn those Wendy's, motherfucker. Stop and think. Somebody works there, okay? Somebody works there, okay? And their work, they get paid for the work, and the pay they get, they use it to pay their bills, man. They use it to pay their bills. Their rent, utilities, groceries, doctor payments. I mean, yeah. But they're not thinking. They're not using their head though, man. I do not know what's going on in this world anymore, man. I think it's about absolutely insane, man. Absolutely insane. But the question is here is that, do any of you think that this movement is a Ponzi scheme? I mean, think for a moment here. $93 million all of 2020. This co-founder bought 4 houses. One of them was about $1.4 million. I mean, did they file for a 501c3 tax exempt status for this thing? I don't know. But also, did any of the chapters get clear that dough? Probably not, because this co-founder is being called into question here. Okay, here they are spending close to $2 million here. Well, close to $3 million on homes here. I mean, shit. I think that I think there has to be calling. I mean, this should be called into question here, man. I think this should be called into question. I really do, because if you're a movement to fight for Black lives, and I mean, you have people that they're suffering. Of course, they're suffering. They're trying to make it day to day. But if people who are working, going to school, going to church every Sunday, the ones who are doing this are the real Black lives, man, and their lives matter. Not these thugs who are looting and rioting and all the other shit. Is it? Don't you guys think that looting and rioting kind of like, I mean, it's not gonna, it ain't gonna solve anything. I mean, it's not gonna solve anything at all. Nothing. What can solve this is that some common sense. Okay, I just think that this whole movement's a Ponzi scheme, man. It's a scam, dude. I'll tell you why. I mean, $93 million, dude. And then Foot Locker has announced they're going to donate $200 million for the next 5 years. That's $1 billion, man. And I bet every black person that does not support BLM is outraged and furious, man. Outraged. I mean, this woman needs to be called into question here. Where's the IRS? How come the IRS isn't investigating this? How come the IRS ain't investigating here? Maybe that also needs to be called into question too. It's like, you know, how come? Hey, IRS, how come you're not investigating this woman here? I mean, she's a co-founder of BLM, and all of 2020 they ranked in $93 million. You know, could that be money laundering there? Could that be fraud? I mean, shit, dude. I mean, you have Act Blue and Those Current, who are the money people. I mean, could that be considered money laundering, you know, or fraud? I'm just saying here, folks. You know, I'm just saying here. But the article that the Daily Mail has put up on Facebook has been censored by Facebook. It's just like the New York Post had their article censored by Facebook. So I mean, all this whole entire censorship needs to be questioned here, folks. Really questioned here, big time. I mean, it does. It needs to be called into question here, you know. And if it is, then somebody might want to ask, what the hell is going on here? What's going on? What's going on here, folks? It needs to be called into question here. It needs to be called into question. You know, I mean, it does. It should be. You know. All right, folks. This is good old Grandmaster Revenue. And if you're new to this channel, please leave a like, subscribe, comment below, hit the bell for notification. And if you got this transmission, you are the resistance. Knowledge is free, knowledge is power. Always stay healthy, well, and wise. I love you guys. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out. Godspeed.